Alright. Ooh, I am orange on this. Oh god. So I don't film during the day. Anyway, so, I just got back from watching Wild Speed Super Combo. As it's known in Japan, or as it's known in the States, is The Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Not that great of a title. I feel like the Japanese title is a lot better. I just wanna... Nope. Gotta scooch it this way. Scooch it. It's probably gonna fall. Anyway, so just got out of it, and it's a mindless, like Fast and Furious movie, because before seeing this one, I actually binge watched all previous 8 movies to watch this one, which, like, Paul was like, oh, you don't have to do that, which I'm glad I did, because I would have been really confused why Helen Mirren was in it. I was like, what? And I'm like, okay, I get it now. But yeah, like, so if you like the Fast and Furious franchise, or if you just don't take it so damn seriously, go see this. Go fucking see this. It's fun, like, action-y stuff happens, like, a lot of, like, bickering back and forth, riffing and stuff happens. So, if you like that, obviously, if you're a fan of, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, if you like Statham, if you like Idris Elba, go fucking see it. I even made a joke saying, like, because the 3 of them are in a film together, there's not gonna be a dry seat in the house, I was like, damn, alright. There's not really much spoilers to go into this movie because most of the movie is in the trailer, It's like, that Idris Elba is, Black Superman. Obviously, Hobbs and Shaw, if you previously watched the, Fast and Furious franchise, that they're there and they don't get along and they now have to work together. So it becomes like this kind of like weird, like, buddy cop kind of thing going on. And again, everything you see in the trailer, you see in the movie. So it's not that much, like, there's not much, like, like, plot or, like, depth. That's the word I'm looking. Not much, like, further into it. You're not gonna be like, okay, this is Hobbs and Shaw, and suddenly, they're like, we're at a Tupperware party, and then we're knitting, with lovely prisoners, for, like, prison reform and shit, and you're like, what? It's exactly what you see it as. It's an action film, things happen, and all that stuff. And the movie's very, like, it's very obvious, like, this is the first act, this is the second act, this is the third act. Like, normally I joke around and say, like, cue the third act music. It kind of cued every act's music, when the movie starts, it's like you kind of just see, like, this is how Hobbs and Shaw, like, the difference of, like, the American and then, like, the English guy kind of thing. And then it's like, we have to come together, blah, 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 blah. And once it's like, we've come together even though we're not, the biggest fan of one another, then it's like, cue the second act music, and it's like, now we're going after Idris Elba. And then once all that happened, it's like, okay, then it's like, cue the third act music where, and again, you see this in the trailer, it's not a spoiler, you see that, The Rock brings it home, with, like, all the fucking Samoans and stuff. So it's like, things happen, all that stuff. So it's not much of, like, oh, 1, 2, 3 spoilers kind of thing. It's just that is what it is, I guess I'll kind of mention some spoilers a little bit later, because there's 2 cameos. There's 2 cameos. Actually, what, fuck it. Like, I'm not really gonna mention it, just because there's 2 cameos, and there's, like, a mid-credit sequence, and then, like, a 3/4 credit sequence, and then an end credit sequence, that happens. So, yay. Like, for me, I'm like, whatever. Like, I only knew to, like, stay that long because, The Rock had made a post that was like, stay, till the end of the credits. And I was like, alright, I'll trust you, Mr. Dwayne Johnson. And it was funny because once the end credits had, and, like, once we got through all of it, all the sequences happened, there's this couple behind us that was like, that was it! They're like, I guess whoever person they knew saw the movie before, since it's a Tuesday and the movie came out last week. They were like, that's it! Reggie said, to stay. He's like, that was it! I can't believe we stepped in front. And I'm just like, I don't know why people get so disappointed. It's like, you don't have to stay. You know, even if people tell you to stay, like, you don't have to stay. There's idiots who don't stay, you know, for Marvel movies, you know, and all that stuff. And as someone who watches, like, a lot of shitty movies, it's like, I don't know, like, I don't think you understand what a disappointment is when you're watching a movie. Like, I'll let you know what a disappointment is, and it's a good chunk of movies I've watched in the past week, you know, so, anyway, but yeah, like, as something in the Fast and Furious universe, I like this one the most, mainly because there was no Vin Diesel. Because you can understand all the dialogue. Like, that's like the joke. Like, even like, Fast and Furious, the fourth movie, where there was riff tracks of, which was great, because while watching it, like, in the middle of it, I was able to, like, get some riff tracks, so I'm not just sitting there just like, oh, fucking, you know, that was, like, the joke of it, where they're just like, what? Because, you know, Vin Diesel's voice is deep, and then he's trying to do, like, the grovelly, like, lines and stuff, so he's already deep, so a lot of lines are like, and you're like, never to her, you know? You're like, what did he say? And a lot of times, like, even with, like, captioning on, I'm like, is that what that sounds like? Like, as someone who's worked, you know, like, in Manhattan and, like, dealt with, like, clientele with, like, accents and little to no English, and I'm able to, like, convey like, know what they're trying to tell me and convey to them, like, you know, all that stuff, and been in sales, like, but even hearing him, I'm like, you're like, it's like that one person where you go, I'm so sorry, could you repeat yourself? I'm sorry, if you just one more time, just, you know, like when you're on the phone, you're like, oh, I'm sorry, just one more time, just, I'm sorry, I just couldn't hear you, okay, I'm okay, just give me 1 second, let me just turn up the, okay, just one more time, I'm very sorry, you could just repeat yourself. Like, that's Vin Diesel, he's that person where you're like, what the fuck did you just say? Anyway, but yeah, you have, like, it's a better caliber of actors, you know, like, you have The Rock, who, you know, is very good at his one-liners, and him playing opposite of Jason Statham, you know, it's very fun. Like, even at times where they're riffing on one another, and it's all that banter and shit, and it kind of runs a little long, but it runs long if you think of like a Line-O-Rama thing, but with something like Line-O-Rama, it starts, like, the jokes start, like, decreasing, and you're like, get the fuck on with it. Whereas this one, it kind of runs long, but, like, every joke gets funnier and funnier, you know, and you're just like, oh, okay. It's also, you know, The Rock's really good at putting stank into it, and then Statham is really good at just kind of being Statham, you know what I mean? So, like, it works out, like, the dynamic between the two of them. And then, like, Statham just being Statham was great. And then, again, you have Idris Elba, who is an incredible actor, as I'm talking about, you know, not being able to understand someone, you know. So you got this, like, dynamic with them. And then, like, even, what's her name, the woman in the movie, you know, like, you know, she's a great actress, you know, as well. So it's, like, of course, it's, like, Helen Mirren just is there. But, you know, like, you have these, you know, again, better caliber of actors, because, again, you don't have just, like, Vin Diesel, you don't have Jordana What's-Her-Face, you don't have, like, Michelle Rodriguez with, like, dead eyes and, like, a smile, you know, and all that stuff, you know, being, like, the tough chick, where her character is constantly fighting MMA fighters, and she has to run away to win her fights, because there ain't no way she was gonna, like, kick Ronda Rousey's ass, or Gina, so it's like, girl, like, Gina's got, like, you know, 500 pounds of force, like, with her kicks and punches. It's like, I'm sorry, Michelle Rodriguez is, like, this, you know, size, like, that ain't gonna happen. But yeah, like, I would, again, this is the only thing in the Fast and Furious franchise I've actually watched in theaters. Everything else, I've, like, you know, like, I'll catch it on, you know, when I had HBO back in the day, or, you know, when it was on, like, TNT or something, or just, like, before, where I rented all 8 films and just kind of, like, watched it and all that shit, just to kind of, like, refresh my memory. But like I said, I feel like this is one of my favorite ones, and if the actual Fast and Furious franchise, my favorite ones was, like, 6 and 7. You know, definitely the James Wan one was my favorite one, just because James Wan is a better director. Anyway, so, like, there's not much really to talk about with Hobbs and Shaw. It's literally just, like, they gotta get Idris Elba. And there's also something about, like like a virus thing, but it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just, you get to just see The Rock be a big Samoan, and then you get to see, you know, Jason Statham be like, I'm Jason Statham, and I'm driving a McLaren, because it's like, of course, because I was looking at the car, I'm like, that's not Aston Martin, because Statham always drives, like, those cars, you know? Oh, and there was, like a reference to the Italian Job, which I was like, that's random, because, you know, it's like all his cars, and it was like a small, you know, like kind of Mini Cooper car. He's like, oh yeah, that was something I had, you know, like in Italy, blah, blah, blah. Like some Italian thing, you know, and I'm just like, so the Italian Job? You know how, like, you and Charlize Theron were in that movie, and how Charlize Theron was the bad guy in like, the Fate of the Furious? It's just that universe, you're just like, I don't know, man. The fact I've seen all these movies, I'm just like, I'm so invested, kinda, not really. But anyway, like I said, like, if you were interested in seeing it, you've most likely seen it already. If you're not sure, like, again, I saw it on Tuesday, it's like the $5 Tuesday thing for whatever, or reduced, that shit, you know, just like, you know, I got like my points and stuff, so I really only paid for my ticket. My mom's ticket was free, and then when I went to concessions, like, I, you know, paid for like half of my concessions, because, you know, again, got my points and stuff, so it's like, go fucking see it when you can. What else? Don't know what else to say, but let me, talk about the trailers. Also, I really like that now all the theaters have it where, like, all seats are reserved, not just the IMAX or, like, the Dolby ones. So it's, like, good, I have to leave my house, like, an hour and a half early just to, I can get, like, a good spot kind of shit. And it's always just, like, surprising, yet not surprising, when people are very confused by how it works. Because it's, like, it was, like, in the middle of, like, the trailers. It was almost, like, you know, the movie was about to start. I think it was, like, the last trailer. And someone was, like, looking for their seat, and it's, like, you go look on the steps, there's letters. And then you walk into that row, then there's numbers. It's not that hard. But I just, like, as, like, the final trailer, like, ended, and it was kind of quiet before, like, the whole, like, thank you for being an AMC, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, I just hear this woman go, this is so confusing! And I'm like, really? Is this confusing? Do you have trouble going to the bathroom? You know, like, I don't know. You know, it's like, which bathroom? It was like, how do I go in the bathroom? Do I just walk in and pick a door? Like, yes, ma'am, that's how you know. I feel like it's one of those people. But anyway, so trailers. The first one was, you know, Star Wars. And so my mom was just like, after the trailer ended, she was just like, remember to buy tickets. I was like, yeah, Mom, I'll remember to buy tickets. Don't worry, you're invited. It's okay, Mother. You know, like, she gets so much more excited for the Star Wars movies than me. Then again, you know, she saw the original ones in theater when she was younger, so I get it. Anyway, the next one is Ford versus Ferrari. And that's the movie that has Matt Damon and John Bernthal, and then Christian Bale's in it in his normal weight, and they allow him to be British. So I was like, oh, cool. Christian Bale, you get to be you know, because there's one part in the trailer where they're like, oh, he's a bit angry, and I'm like, of course, you know, I'm thinking, oh, good for you. You think about that. I'm like, it's good to see, you know, like, Christian Bale had, like, his normal kind of, like, weight, and he's not, like, either overweight or getting, like, way too bulky. It's like, okay, please, honey, I need you to be healthier. You're getting older, and that you can't just do that to your body. Anyway, yeah, so that one, it's a car movie, so it's like, alright, cool, you know, funny enough that it's technically a car movie we're seeing now. Anyway, next is Gemini Man. That's the one where it's like current Will Smith and young Will Smith, which I love that they, of all people, they use Will Smith, because he barely has aged. Like, yeah, of course, like, current Will Smith, they make sure to keep his salt and pepper going on, and, like, all his, you know, like, whatever little bit of wrinkles he has, and then, like, younger Will Smith is just kind of, like, just, you know, like, just slightly, like, I doubt they really had to do CGI. You just gotta, just get a couple tapes, you know. Anyway, after that is Angel Has Fallen. That's the, you know, that one. Then it's The Kitchen, which I think actually comes out, like, the end of this week. It's the one I mentioned before where I was like, oh, Melissa McCarthy doing a serious role, and she can do these roles and just do, like, all these other movies where she plays, like, a spy or whatever shit, and she kind of does some action-y kind of stuff, but she always has to, like, throw in the whole, like, I'm a fat person kind of thing, so it's like, get it? I can do all this stuff, but remember I'm still fat and my weight becomes a joke kind of stuff. And it's like, damn, jeez, I thought I was bad, you know. And it's like she plays like a bitch, like almost a cunt, but more of a bitch. And I'm like, yes, play that. Be that Melissa McCarthy. You can do better. After that is Quick and Slim. It's the movie written by Lena. Is it Lena Wath? Waith? How do you pronounce her last name? But her Emmy award-winning lady. She wrote it and all that stuff. So that looks great. It's got Daniel Kaluuya and this new actress in it, and looks interesting. And then after that is a World War I movie called 1917. I think it's got one of the dudes from Dark in it. Like, I think it's one of those guys. Anyway, that part doesn't matter. Anyway, Benedict Cumberbatch is in it. Because I'm watching it and I'm like, okay. I was like, this doesn't look like World War II. You know, and then it's like 1970. I'm like, hey, it's World War I. And Cumberbatch is in it. Cool. Like, going back to his, like, I'm doing British films instead of doing Marvel. But anyway, so, yes, that's my quick review, because I never do quick reviews. A Wild Speed, there's not room for colon, Super Combo. I really wish like Masami and I were saying, we really wish we could have seen this in Japan, just so I could have a movie stub that says, like, Wild Speed Super Combo on it, and I could be like, I don't know, go to, like, whatever store I can buy that movie poster at, because that is an amazing title. But anyway, yeah, I don't know when the next movie I'm gonna see, since, you know, the whole no job thing. Anyway, I have a Patreon. Please help me. I'm dying. Alright.